You guys, it's Jax. I'm coming to you because I actually have a problem. This isn't just going to be a problem for me being a trucker and so heavily involved in the trucking industry, but this is a problem that's going to affect all of you. So first, let me thank you for a minute of your time. I want to tell you what the problem is first, okay? The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, is trying to enact a rule starting January 1st, 2023, that all semis will have to have a speed limiter installed into the computer of that semi by law. They want to make not law. Laws are made by Congress. Rules are made by agencies that aren't actually elected. They're just appointed by people. So the FMCSA is either going to have trucks be mandated to drive 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour, or 68 miles an hour, regardless of the speed limit of the state in which they're traveling through. Now, why are they doing this? What's the deal? They feel like that in doing so, it will make the highways more safe to have semis traveling more slowly. They've looked at the data and they said there's between 90 and 150 fatalities a year in which semi-truck speed was the cause of that accident. So by making a speed limiter on a semi, they can save those amount of lives each year is the hope, okay? Now, how is this going to affect people? This is where I really want you to clue in, okay? How this is going to affect people, there's several different ways. But first and foremost, I want you to understand that there is a great amount of fragility in the supply chain, okay? Have we not all learned that lesson with COVID, with shelves being bare, with when the economy, is up and booming, there's a lack of trucks, you can't get things in, you can't get products you need to build. I think that just about everybody that's hearing my voice has dealt with some kind of supply chain issue in one form or another. This supply chain is very fragile, and semi-trucks are at the very base of the entire supply chain. So by mandating speed limits to be slower than what trucks may need to run in a state like Montana, for example, where you have 600 miles of just good old open roads, or a lot of these western states, it's going to take that supply chain and make it even worse. You're going to have even more problems getting the things that you need, okay? Another thing that it directly affects truck driver pay, okay? By mandating this reduction in speed, a truck driver is going to lose about $80 a day in wages because they get paid by the mile and they can't drive as many miles as they currently do now, and so their wage is going to drop each day, okay? If you're a truck owner, if you're a guy that owns a truck and operates your own business, you're going to lose about $500 a day because of the less miles. You're going to be driving about 100 or so less miles each day with that truck. Now, that's how it affects truckers. That's how it affects you. Here's another way that it affects the entire public, okay? I want you to understand, you guys ever been on the freeway before and you get behind two semis and you almost think to yourself, you're like, are they playing a joke on everybody? There's two semis just sitting neck and neck on the freeway going down the road like this, and there's like 200 cars piled up behind, right? It's not actually a bad joke. It's that this truck in this lane has a company govern, okay? Their company's chosen to govern their truck, let's just say at 65 miles an hour. This truck has a company governance also at 65 miles an hour. But no two trucks will ever be exactly the same. Even though their computers are saying 65 miles an hour, there's a lot of other factors that contribute into weight of the load, size of your tires. Anyway, so this truck here is going 65. This truck here is going 65.1. He's tired of following, so he pulls out, and it takes him literally 5 minutes to pass that semi. Okay? And you all get to pile up in a giant traffic jam behind that semi until he gets around him. Now just imagine, that's just two semis that are governed. Imagine that every single semi that you see on the road is governed that way, okay? You're going to have the most unbelievable traffic jams that you have ever experienced in your life. You think that's bad? You're going to have 10 trucks in the slow lane and 15 trucks in the fast lane just creeping by each other. And once those trucks all clear out, it creates traffic jams. Traffic jams create more wrecks. You guys have seen it everywhere, all across the country. Whenever there's a traffic jam, there's always a chain of other wrecks that happen behind that. Another thing that you may want to take into account is that in a rural area like Montana, we have a lot of two-lane roads, okay? Not as much freeway, lots of two lanes. In fact, a lot of the United States is that way. There's far more two-lane than freeway, right? So as you're out on a two-lane, you're going to be stuck behind a semi that's going slow, maybe 2 semis that are going slow, and you need to get around that semi because you as a car are allowed to go faster. It's dangerous to pass. I honestly will tell you that at least one time a day I have on 2-lane roads a near miss accident, and I'm not exaggerating. You can ask any trucker on the road where a car's going to pass you and they're trying to get around and you as the trucker end up slowing way down to get them to duck in time so they don't have a head-on collision. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and here's my ask, okay? I want you to go to the link in my bio. I want you to comment on this. We have 20 more days now, 20 more days. They just kind of popped this thing up here last week and said you have this amount of time to comment on it. We're going to take public input, and then we're closing it down. We'll evaluate the input, and we'll make our decision. So this is the time, okay? This is the moment where not just you truckers out there, all of you citizens, I believe, honestly, you guys, you have to understand this. I don't even drive fast. I'm not a trucker that goes 75, 80 miles an hour everywhere. But every once in a while, there's a reason where in your truck, you need to have the ability to push on that gas pedal and get her moving. For example, when cars are merging on the freeway, oftentimes if I push on the gas, I can get ahead of the whole cluster. If we're all governed, I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to bother to look over at merging cars. I'm going to put my cruise on, my maxed out speed, and whatever they got to deal with to get on the freeway, they're going to have to deal with it because I have places I need to be and I can't afford to slow down. I'm here. It's trucking's a business. It's supply chain. You understand where I'm going with this. So, you guys, 20 days. Link is in the bio. Go and comment. Citizens. There's not just enough of us truck drivers out there. If you citizens, you regular old folks that ain't the trucking dogs, if you guys don't want to see traffic jams and all this craziness, not to mention semis going 65 and cars going 85, that alone, you guys are going to have semis pulling out in front of you. I promise that it will cause more accidents and it will cause more danger. So please go follow that link, follow the link, and comment. Just say, I don't think that this is a good thing for the economy, for the supply chain, for people's safety. I understand that they're trying to save lives on the front side, but the unintended consequences, I believe, will likely far outweigh any good. So you guys, one last time, please do this. We have 20 days for you to comment. We have 20 days for you to email your senators, your state representatives, your U.S. representatives, your U.S. senators from your state. We have to do something about this. Otherwise, it's going to get ramrodded through, and you promise you're not going to like this. They've tried it in Canada. It mostly failed. A couple of provinces have stuck with it, and it's not been great. So, you guys, that's my ask, and we need your help. Truckers need your help. You need the help. We have to keep this supply chain moving. We see how fragile it is. Right now, the baby formula is a hot thing. Previous to this, it was meat. It was, you guys remember. You remember the whole COVID fiasco. Supply chain is fragile. We cannot tweak with it, especially not now. Thank you.